Welcome to another episode of the hottest podcast on YouTube. It's your boy Infuego. I got Ripping for Rookies to my left. I've got the fastest fingers on YouTube right below us. That was an awesome break there, Arnie, as always.
No doubt.
Yep.
Is he there?
Yep. Thank you so much.
He's sorting.
There we go.
He's moving. He's not speaking.
Yeah, multitasking.
So we got Tom in the chat. We got Sean, Doug from Don't Talk to Robots. How
Doug,
you boys
Sean,
doing?
Tom.
Welcome in. This is just a little intermission for Arnie while he sorts. And once we're done with the podcast, we're going right back into putting them baby fingers to work.
That's
Mike,
right.
how we doing? Titus?
Doing good. Yep. Hey, what's up, Mike?
So, yeah, we got quite a few things that we're going to dive into. We're going to be complaining about some stuff, get some opinions about some things that's going on in the hobby. But first things first, today is the first day of the new PSA specials. Okay. They're doing the season's gradings, if that's what you want to call it. The one that was more relevant to us would be the I think it was the 60s and 70s sports special at $15.99 a card with a insured value of $300. This go around, they're doing 80s and 90s.
There we go.
Okay,
I like
and
that.
That is the only one that is relevant from 1980 to 1999 are all eligible. All right, 10 card minimum, $300 is the insured declared value, 50 business days. And they've been doing pretty good on the turnaround times too. I'm not going to complain about it. And then for all you TCG guys,
for the next 2 weeks, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Then you got your Pokemon, you got your Funko Pops, you got your Value Bulk Turbo Plus. Get some more tickets. And that's about it for the specials. But since we're on the topic of PSA, for those of you that actually are heavy into the grading, you no longer have to add the declared value into your submissions any longer because it's done for you. Now, when we was talking about this yesterday, the question that I had, and I think Arnie kind of broke it down a little bit, was for the declared value, since we're no longer putting that into the submissions, how will that affect the shipping rates? And you mind explaining that again to everybody there, Arnie?
Yeah. So the way it used to be, which I think prompted a lot of this, was the upcharges and a lot of complaints where people would get an upcharge and they would complain about it. Some people were happy with it because they got a better value on the card than they anticipated, or a higher grade than they expected. So let's just say you ship a 20 card order and you manually put in your estimated values, and it turns out to be $1,000. Let's say your shipping is $30 there. They're going to probably charge you somewhere around that price, or maybe even a little bit less because they get a little bit of break when they do send it back to you. But the value that is going to be automatically populated, I think it will affect that a little bit because it's going to be the max value. So if it says max value of 500, if you're not putting anything in that value and you send 10 cards right away, that's are they assuming that that's going to be $5,000 value? That's the only thing that I think is going to be up in the air right now.
And it sounds like it makes sense, logically that does kind of make sense, but with PSA, you never know.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work when people start to send these new submissions in that grade on a regular basis and start to look it down and go, wait a minute, I was paying 35 to 40 for shipping insurance on the way back. What I send it there for is my job. That's what I pick and select. But on the way back, if they start seeing $60, $70, $80 to send cards back, that's when I think things are going to we'll start to see some complaints on that front, if that's the way it goes.
Definitely.
So time will tell on that one.
Yep, we will see.
But something to look out for.
Any opinions on that, Mike?
I don't grade cards, so I have no opinions. I will buy my cards off of eBay or have somebody else grade them for me.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, so next thing we're going to go ahead and dabble in, for those of you that's got extremely deep pockets, upcoming releases. Okay, so the first one we're going to go over, and I don't want to rip the Band-Aid off too quick. We're going to talk about Triple Threads. This is actually going to be coming out on the 29th of November. And for those of you who are into this kind of stuff, you could get it at a low price of about $500.
Sarcasm in there.
Okay. You are looking at 2 mini boxes per master box, and each mini box has 7 cards per pack. And in those minis, you'll get 1 auto, 1 relic. You'll get 4 base in each box. You might get a numbered parallel, 199 the less, or you might get a rookie autograph relic.
And this is division coming from somebody that went through the 3rd grade twice, so he's doing good.
That was the 4th grade, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, that's right. Division and multiplication came in the 4th grade.
Exactly. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for Triple Threads. Arnie, you planning on diving into this?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, I don't. Nice product. Would I venture into some mixers or some breaks if it's out there? Sure, because that's the best way to buy this stuff. Even if I had the money to buy this expensive product, I don't think it's a good buy because the limited print run product is just not. You're paying a premium, and for that kind of money, I'd rather get the premium hits from a more mass-produced product because to me that's just tougher to hit, and those have some more stability in the hobby. That's just where I'm at with these releases. But beautiful cards, but they do look close to the stuff that's a little cheaper. The 5-star, all these are kind of in that same range. So 5-star, and the other one is Museum Collection. These all kind of run the same thickness, the same style of relics. Some are autoed on cards, some are sticker autos. So yeah,
right.
I think there's just too many of those that are similar to this.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, this would likely be one of those products that I'll just cherry pick the singles that I'm looking for.
Or maybe just try one break with one breaker and just try one. Hey, I'll just do one break, and because you can get in at a fraction of the price, obviously,
right? Depending
on your team, and that's another good thing about these higher end products. If you have a team like the Indians, for myself, that I PC, I think this is a great product, and these are great products because these are cheaper teams. If you have the White Sox and certain players, it's a lot more affordable. Mm-hmm. But that would be the only upside to this product from a breaking standpoint is if you do have players that are on not so popular teams.
Agreed. So that is one of 2 upcoming releases. The next one, you guys are going to love this
worse.
one. Topps Gilded, and I know a lot of you have been asking about it. Y'all could get that for a nice, decent price of $700. Okay. Now, with this particular product, you're getting not 1, not 2, but 5 cards in a box. Okay. Now, inside that box, you're looking for either a framed autograph or a cut auto. You're going to be looking for a chrome gold auto, 3 numbered baser inserts. You might be lucky and get a gold storm insert numbered to 24, or an electro black parallel numbered to 5. And then these are some of the rookies that you're going to be looking for. So, I mean, here's
I believe that's a new parallel, that electro black. I think that's new.
It is
for this year. Yeah.
I think I saw David Adams put up a break for this. It was like $140 per one card per spot, 5 spots.
Oh, just doing single boxes.
Just doing a single box, 5 cards, your spot. So you might get the auto, or you might just get a base.
Yeah.
Not going to card show. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to go either, Nikki. Unfortunately, I would really like to. It's so close to us, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it.
So here's breaking news. Heritage High Number will be out next year.
Okay,
nice.
January, February.
At least it's going to be out.
To be determined.
Well, that'll be good because that's kind of a dead time where we need something to we need Arnie to rip.
Don't say that too loud. Tops will hear you and squeak out another product in between them.
Well, we're still waiting for archives.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it.
Yeah, well.
We haven't heard anything
now,
about
Arnie,
that.
Will Gilded be
Hey, Jimmy?
Would you follow the same guidelines with Gilded? Get into one break, see how it is?
Yeah. But Gilded is even less though for me because the price point, it's 200 higher per box.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, again, I don't know how to separate when people say manufactured rarity. Well, everything is manufactured at some point, and then it becomes rare when it becomes not important or unpopular, and then a period of time goes by, a long period of time. So I think what people are saying is, well, it's manufactured rarity. What I compare it to is if you had $1,000 to buy one card of the top player, whether it's Manny Machado, future Hall of Famers that are, right there and going to be in soon, or it's one of the best and is already going to be a lock like Mike Trout, what cards are you going for that $1,000? Right away, I gravitate towards first Bowmans, refractors, top rookies, color parallels of the rookies, not these other brands like, you mentioned there with the Tribute and Museum Collection and those. Yeah, that's kind of that's what I usually compare these bigger higher end releases to. But if it's affordable into a break, I definitely get in like a mixer if they had like one box of that and then some other stuff. I
would not be surprised if I was to jump on either the Fanatics app or Loop and see one of these big named breakers doing a break, pick your player with Gilded.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. I believe, I don't know if they would do pick. Well, yeah, they'd have to have the whole checklist up.
Yeah.
And do pick your player, but how many come in a case? Do we know the case format yet, or is that not? Maybe we can look at last year's.
As far as the case, that's a good question.
Yeah, we'll have to look at last year's.
Let me pull it up real quick. See if I can.
Yeah, these are questions that we never have because buying a case is probably going to set you back a nice used car.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, depends.
Yeah.
I am looking.
Well, you figure there's 12 boxes in a case.
Yeah, these mini boxes though sometimes
you're
are
at $800. You're looking at $9,600 for the case.
Yeah, like roughly, yes.
What's the name of that last one? 5-star, like those small mini boxes that are maybe 8 inches by 6 or whatever. Those are usually like 8. Sometimes those are 8 in a case. So maybe that's what this is.
More than likely, but either way, one box is gonna hold only 5 cards. So if that's something that you're gonna want to get into and you could afford it, hey, by all means,
good luck.
Boo-boo.
Yeah, and good luck, and hopefully you hit it big. It's a beautiful product, though. It is amazing. It is stuff. I'll definitely.
It is. This is just another prime example of how Fanatics is 10x in the hobby for the collector.
Yeah.
It's average collector.
Correct.
Oh yes, the average collector.
Yeah.
Oh, and the kids.
Yep. All right, so that's basically all the upcoming releases. This will actually be releasing on the 22nd of November, along with Bowman Draft, where we already talked about that, and I believe it's going to run us about a 40-hour week paycheck for most of us.
Yeah. Before or after tax.
At least, yeah.
So, but in other news, we got some bounties out for certain one-of-ones. Paul Skeens, for example. So the Pirates just offered season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years in exchange for the rookie debut patch auto card. Okay. On top of that, you're going to get a meet and greet with them. You'll get 2 signed Skeens jerseys. You'll get to grab another 29 friends of yours so y'all can play a nice little softball game at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni. And you get a private tour of Pirate City and Leacombe Park with other additional unique experiences. And for those of you that are social butterflies, the latest incentive was you actually get to sit in the same box seat as Paul Skeens' girlfriend.
Oh.
So how do we feel about that?
The seats are guaranteed box seats, correct?
They're behind home plate.
Yeah.
They're behind home plate. Okay.
I don't think the seats have been assigned as far as section and row, and
that's fine.
It's 2 seats.
How much do you think that card's going to sell for? First question.
If you had to put a monetary value, I mean,
yeah,
we've seen the Anthony Volpe.
Let's get the chat going too. What do you think what that card's worth?
I would say
at this moment,
I'm going to say about 400 plus thousand, around 400,000 on Golden.
That sounds reasonable because Volpe went for 150, and that was a David Adams bounty.
Yeah, that was the bounty.
Okay.
And what they did with the card is another thing, but I don't think I need to add.
There we go. There's KC.
You know,
that's what I'm looking at, KC. I was looking at, even if you were to sell those tickets for $30 a piece, $60 for 2 seats.
Right, but that's a 30-year stretch. Annually, that's not a lot. You're taking the only person that's going, and this is just something I commented when Topps posted it, and I tagged them in it. Obviously, I don't get the reply from them, but in my opinion, the only person that is going to take that deal is going to be a 2-parter. It's going to be a Pirates fan and a Pirates fan that has money. When I say money, they don't need 400,000, 200, 300,000, because Ken Golden already trumped that same tweet. And as soon as it came out, he tagged everybody that posted that tweet, or tagged the original one and then put his out. Contact me first before you do anything, type of deal. So Ken Golden's tweet, if you want to pull that up in Fuego while we're chatting, it's pretty interesting. And of course, people bashed him, but no one's gonna take. I would never take that deal if it was a 2 seats to my stadium, and then the Pirates would cover that cost. Now you got me thinking.
But Arnie, here's the thing: you don't have to go to the games. You can sell them on the secondary market.
That's true, but if you're selling them on a secondary market, then you're talking about 81 games and making $150, 75 to $100 a ticket, $200. Then after you pay StubHub and all those other SeatGeeks or whatever they are, which is 20%, if sometimes higher, what are you getting every game? You got to go on and list your ticket and then do that.
But you have income coming in for 30 years.
Look at the comment
that's
that
true.
Nate put.
How many baseball cards could you buy with that for 30 years? A lot.
I mean, what would be option B if they put that clause? You are restricted from selling it on the secondary market.
Well, then screw it. Then you sell the card.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
But now
you take the money. I mean, I guess I don't know why. I was just playing devil's advocate. I sell it. I don't care. But let me control my 400,000. Let me do what I want with my 400,000, and then go to the stadiums and the games. And and Olivia Dunn was hers. It wasn't something the Pirates put out. Let's put the cherry on top. She actually came out and retweeted and said, "I'll also throw this in from her account." So that's a whole separate thing that was added. But it's I don't know.
But here's the thing now. With incentives like this for Paul Skeens, okay, we all have been in many breaks during our collecting careers. And this goes for the chat as well. We all get that rush when somebody is slow rolling a big hit. But once we see it, we see that frown when we find out it's a pitcher. But for some reason, whenever it's a Paul Skeens, everybody's kickstand is poking out. Now, would this be the start of where people will start respecting pitchers more?
Is this the?
I think it's because of the money. I think it's because of the money. That's why they're getting excited, because they know it's an easy sell. It's a hit that you could sell for a lot of money.
But even before this debut thing, like when Skeens had his first Bowman, you know, everybody was chasing it.
Yeah, well, I think it was because they were getting such a high dollar for a base card.
And the thing is,
I thought that was more of the draw.
The kid is not even. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. The kid's got some skills. He had a hell of a damn rookie season. But how would you compare him to pitchers like Kershaw, Castillo, Alcantara? I mean, those guys pretty much have set resumes already.
Yeah, it's hard to compare with the tenure of 10 to 15 years pitching. It's hard to do that. Same thing with a batter. I mean, okay, Churio's good, Holiday's good, Bobby Witt's good. All these guys are great. They're amazing. But they're only been in the league 1 to 3 years. So we could do the same thing and bring up Harper and Machado and compare them to those same two position players. I think
that's what I'm
the
saying.
same way.
Like,
yeah,
if we was to pull, let's just say Mike gets into a Chrome update break, he gets the Dodgers, he pulls a Kershaw superfractor. Okay, he'll probably be excited for maybe a good 2 or 3 minutes. One, because it's a superfractor, but at the back of his mind, he'd be like, "Damn, why couldn't it be like a Mookie or a Shohei or somebody?" You know, it's like these established pitchers, or just pitchers in general, with the exception of Skeens, really don't get no love.
Okay, let me throw this in there. Who is the last pitcher that drew this kind of attention?
Strasburg.
Yes, exactly. What happened to Strasburg?
He became a one pump chump.
I mean, he had a great career. I mean, it's not like he
had a great career. I mean, he had his injuries, but where's his collectability?
We're talking about who? Strasburg?
It's kind of like the same hype that Skeens has right now. Who? That's the last pitcher that I can think of that had the same hype that Skeens has. Has there been any since?
Yeah, I would say Spencer Strider.
All right, Strider.
Strider was great, and then so was what's his name? That 206 or 208 strikeouts his rookie year. Kodai
I mean, Sandy Alcantara. Less than 5 years in the league, he won a Cy Young.
Yep. I guess what's nice about it for collectors like myself, if we land on the Pirates in 2023, everyone's like, oh, I got the Pirates. You land on the Pirates now, and you're like, what can I trade? Let me get the Reds. Let me get my team, and let me get 3 teams for this. And because you can resell them. Chicks dig the long ball, just as
that is true there, Josh.
That's true, Casey. Yeah, that's a good one.
But, I mean...
It's a good problem to have, I think, for the hobby because, listen, Pirates don't pay anybody. They're notorious for not paying players. But do they pay them now, or do they have plans of paying him already? I think you brought that up a couple of days ago in Fuego. Like, did they already pay him? Are they already talking about extending him? I don't know. I think a lot of factors play into this.
Don't know too many pitchers that had a girlfriend with her height, but I do know a couple of baseball players that did.
What about Verlander and what's her name?
Yeah, she was.
Look at Derek Jeter. He was dating
Mariah Carey. And 50 others, or 100 others, or 1,000 others.
Yeah.
So it's a good point, though. I did bring that up too, where I thought, is a lot of this being driven by how popular she is with the younger kids?
I mean, it could be because look at Taylor Kelsey.
Exactly. How many girls are watching football now that are interested in football? Young girls.
I mean, listen, we're talking about a good problem to have as a fan base, for the Pirates, as a collector for like Chris. Oh, geez, Dom. Oh my God,
Dom's the best.
Oh God, filter is off. Is it 9 o'clock yet?
No, not yet.
So yeah, that's my take on the.
I'm just hoping
the popularity of it. I think it's good.
All the love that Skeens is getting. Some of the other pitchers that are established, that are, that they've got a little bit of tenure.
They have some good-looking girlfriends. They have good-looking girlfriends or wives. But it wouldn't be out there if it was. You wouldn't be having millions of followers follow your wife on Instagram, but you'd have her, who's. I mean, they're dating. They're not married, but I think that is a good point what Nate made, where there is some attraction.
But then that's another thing, though. If you was in Paul's shoes, how would you feel that your notoriety is based off of who you're sleeping with?
I don't know. He's a champion, though. That's the thing with Skeens. He's not he didn't just come out of nowhere, and been in the league for 3 years. He's been a champion, and
I mean, we could say the same thing about Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander.
Scherzer,
DeGrom.
Quite a few.
Like I said, we can look at it in many ways. I think it's a good problem to have for the people that collect baseball cards, the people that sell cards, the people that are getting into breaks, the people that buy boxes that can resell stuff that they don't collect, like a Skeens. I don't collect him. I have no use for him. But if I pull one, great. Right. I can use that money to help pay for a box. I also like, trade bait. I also like the fact that it's good for baseball overall. The popularity that it brings towards the pitcher position, that's another avenue. I think it's all positive. I don't think there's anything bad here.
Right.
And anyone that's hating on it or upset about it is just wants to complain about it.
And something. The Pirates will sell in a pick your team break. So that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till now. But all right. Moving right along. So with holiday upon us, I was able to obtain the print run and have it compared from 24 to 23, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I don't have the comparison, but I got the breakdown. And what we're seeing here is for total base of a 250 player checklist, 62.3 million cards are printed just of base players. Then you got 6.4 million approximate inserts. All right. Autographs and relics. You got a 41 card checklist for autographs. Each of those 41 have 128 per. Then the relics, which is double for the most part, for almost 4,200 copies. Then you got your inserts, breaking it down. Your Santa Archives, 25 card set, 1,800. Hidden Elves, 25 card set at 1,800. Your Gingerbread Men, 870. Your Snowmen, which is only one card, 53. And then for each player, okay, it's a 200 card set. I apologize. You're looking at 311,000 base cards for each player on that checklist. The Silver Glitter, just over 10,000. Blue Metallics, 2,000, so on and so forth. Any thoughts on this from the chat?
I saw a couple of boxes being open, and everybody was saying, "Oh, well, we're supposed to get 3 hits in there," but they're not looking at that blue metallic as a hit. That's the hit, and 2 short. You get 2 short prints, and you get a relic, or if you're lucky, you get a autograph. Also, you're going to get the 5 silvers, or the metallic cards, the Ray Snowflake cards in there. And it seems like the correlation is kind of the same as last year, where every 5th card you're going to start looking for your short print. If it's not metallic or the Ray Snowflake, it's that's where your short print is going to fall.
To answer Alan Forrest's question, yes, there's 25 copies of each. Okay, but one thing I did forget to mention, though, they also do have a holiday variation, which is a 50 card set, and it's just under 30,000 for each of those cards.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it open, and Beast just put up the Hidden Elves are 1 in 200 packs. I haven't seen any of them come up, but I've only watched a couple of people open them up. It's not like I watched a case break or something like that.
Right.
I've seen a few boxes open. That's about it.
I enjoy it.
think,
I
Arnie?
enjoy the release. I think the neon looks good. They are definitely a little bit more busy than they were last year, which is fine, but that's kind of what they're known for, cramming a bunch of stuff into one image and dressing up what it is. But the fact that we have that neon top team name,
Right.
this year's release for Top Series 1, 2, and Update, I think it looks good with the same neons that they did around, the Santa faces, the stockings, and it'll be fun to go through, and it's always affordable, and I hope they just leave it alone and keep doing stuff like this with the elves. I think that's new, and that'll be fun to chase those. And if this is something you'd like to get into, it'll be something extra for you with those. I think you said 200 print run.
Yes.
The elves, yeah, or 1 in 2. Is it 1 in 200 to get
1 in 200 packs?
1 in 200 packs to pull one. Yeah, on average.
Gotcha. Well,
which is the operative word.
Yeah.
So Arnie, if you're doing a case, we should get one.
Yeah.
We should.
Or 3. Case hit.
Or 3. Yeah, you never know. Oh, it's a case hit. We got 3 of them. What happened?
Okay, so this one, I'm pretty sure this one kind of rubs everybody in a special way, whether good, bad, or ugly. Autographs on your cards. Okay, let's just say you happen to pull that big name player, but his autographed Bowman First or rookie card are just initialed. Okay, but yet, and we're talking flagship. Now, if you look at a product that's more on the higher end, you actually get the full player's name. Mm-hmm. How are we feeling about that?
Go ahead, Mike.
Let's see. Well, I did something last night where we were getting prepped for this, and I showed the evolution of one autograph for one player when he first came up, how it was like a full signature to where it's like, oh, now I got more to sign, so it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller till it came down to initials, and it was mostly flagship product, but yeah, with flagship product, you're going to sign a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
With the higher end product, you might only be signing 50. With flagship, you might be signing 1,000 or 2,000, or depending how bad you are, 10,000. Curtis Curry. How many Curtis Curry autographs does everyone have, or has been pulled out of boxes?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I think that if it is a higher end product, it deserves your full signature. I mean, if you can do it, if you can, print in cursive or make it look good, not just 2 initials and a little squiggly line and the number sign and your number next to it.
So what I have up here is a tweet, because Elon Musk hasn't came up with a new name for a post yet, but this came up from Shut Up Drew. So Jackson Merrill has said publicly that he only signs his full name on the good cards with his full auto, as they deserve better. So basically, if you pull that flagship rookie card auto of Mr. Merrill, you'll be one of the elites that gets the JM initials. What are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Arnie.
I think first part would be, I think we're seeing more opinions because a lot of these players that are coming up now, these guys also collect cards. Bobby Witt collects cards. Marcelo Mayer, a lot of the prospects that are in the minors now. Blaze Jordan. We can go on with all the names and all the people that are in the hobby now. But I like that element. But the way he worded it, it wasn't. Again, you're going to take it 2 ways.
Controversial.
It does, but I think he worded it in a positive way where he's saying, hey, it means something to sign my signature. It means something to sign these expensive cards. It's more than just, the hobby.
I get that.
Something that could be part of it. Again, it's several parts of it that we don't know unless you interview the guy. Hey, what did you mean by this post? Can you elaborate and give me 2 minutes?
And it makes sense. I could imagine Jackson Merrill, for example, getting a roll of stickers for his autograph to put on Big League, for example.
Sure. sheet
Okay?
after sheet after sheet.
Yes, he'll get.
Yeah.
I can see where he's just putting the initials, especially if it's a sticker.
And then it's
But
not only
now-
that, they may start off right, but
Right.
as they realize that they're going to be in the league for a long time,
Uh-huh.
they're like, you know what, I'm going to be doing this for the next 10 years. I just signed a 7-year deal or an extension.
Yeah.
I got to sign more of these. And then on top of that, when they sign those deals, a lot of this stuff, these guys have contracts with tops, and I don't know how long those are for. Is it how long you're in the league? I don't know how that stuff works. But I would assume once they find out they have to sign a lot more, that's probably when they start to say, all right, I got to make a change here or my hand's going to fall off.
So I'm going to pick on somebody in the chat. Dom, here's a scenario for you.
Dom can take it.
You are a prospect for the New York Mets, okay? They send you 1,000 Bowman first cards for you to sign, okay, for Bowman products. You already have the heads up that you're going to make your debut come opening day. So they're going to give you about 10 sheets of 500 stickers each, and you got to sign. Are you going to change the way you sign on either or?
I think it's a lot of factors in this. I think,
and then now mind you, I'm starting on low-tiered products. So would that be something that you would tailor because you're being asked to sign an abundance? Okay, number one, no one wants my auto.
Says who? I hope Mike is looking for those cards that exist.
I have the cards.
Okay,
And
good.
then he goes,
I have the
because
cards
of the volume, his signature would change. Okay, which is understandable.
We've also seen this though. Look at Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe is beautiful. The full name, the star-looking A, and the full name, and then he's changed it twice now. So he has 3 variations of his. Hunter Green also changed his. I have a Hunter Green that has the dollar sign, and I heard the rumor is that someone told him don't put the dollar sign anymore. So his
Now,
rookie cards had a dollar sign, and now they're different.
Let's pick some products that's a little more higher end. Okay. Would you change your auto to sexify it for superfractors and products like Dynasty, maybe Transcendent? Because I could think of a couple of players right now who have been very consistent with their autographs. You know, for example, J-Rod, he's been pretty consistent his whole career.
Dennis
Mike
Eckersley
Trout is
has
another
the most
one.
beautiful autograph.
Okay,
Any
and look
products we don't have to worry about. It's the
Bobby Witt. He's another one.
Ooh.
Veteran players and possibly rookie prospects can pay clubhouse guys to sign.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, that stuff goes on all the time. We just don't know
and
about
then
it.
Dom writes probably would change it, honestly, because he is a collector and he knows those cards are super high value.
And that's where I think that comment got taken out of context. That's an actual comment from a collector, a sports guy. These kids are young; they're young 20s, and they've been playing baseball since they were, old enough to walk, probably, and around the game. So maybe it's a little more of a pride thing for them. And he may see, hey, listen, these guys may collect, and they may be doing this a backsided comment about the guys that sign just their initials and that look horrible on some of these cards. Who's the AC guy? A-C.
Yeah, or
2024 Bowman, whatever his name is.
Like John said, CT2.
Yeah, it's just, come on. Have a little, I don't know. Give these kids a stamp something, anything.
Then you got, I mean, and if you're going to blow off the signatures is one thing, but if you just flat out write something in that white little space that is designed for the signature, do not throw no hieroglyphics in there. I've seen autographs where they have like little stick figures and if you put their initials together, like there's one prospect, I can't remember his name.
Oh, that was they were both friends. There was two people.
His initials put together is ass.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy that put there was two players that he put something else on. I don't know if it was the shape of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Or the city, or I don't know what it was. It was something on there, and it was him and another player that did it. He did one for him, and then he did one for his friend, like vice versa.
Because if I'm not mistaken, these players are actually contracted with these manufacturing companies to sign these cards.
Yeah, they're paid.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, Topps doesn't have a requirement. I mean, how are you going to tell a kid that's never even learned to? These kids half these kids in Bowman haven't even been to the United States yet.
This is true. So
they don't. I mean, in a lot of them, the education's different. And I'm now with a lot of people not learning. I get we're not teaching kids cursive anymore. I get that, but to sign your own name, that was a thing. I remember someone mentioning it in the chat or somewhere where they would sit there and draw their name and just doodle on a notebook while not paying attention to the teacher or whatever. It was a something to be proud about. Like, hey, I know how to sign my own name. Yeah, I no longer have to print. I learned how to print. Now I learned how to sign in cursive, and I'm going to use it and sign your name. When you sign a check, what do you print your name right now? Get it? Oh, well, we don't use checks. Okay, well, you endorse a check on the back. What do you do? Print your name? No, you sign it.
Well, those are anything aside from their signatures, Mike, is basically icing on the cake. If you will, I do see people that throw extra stuff in there, Bible verses, their jersey number. Hall of Famers put HOF. There was a 1-of-1 card of Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. Bryce Harper wrote an inscription. Mike Trout is a great player. Mike Trout said Bryce Harper is a great player.
Yeah.
And it's on the same card, So, I mean,
yeah,
little things like that is cool, but
as long as it doesn't get overplayed, because keep in mind, Bowman this year, with 2024 Bowman, they did my first Bowman, my first card, and they did it on the card number 1 of 150. So the true blue to.
Oh, did we lose Arnie?
He'll be back.
We lost Arnie.
Yep, we lost Arnie.
Okay. Well, let me go through signatures right here. This is one of the players that were coming up for the Phillies rookie player, Spencer Howard. And the evolution of the autograph in just 1 year. The first 4 are going to be sticker autographs. So we've got Prism, which is low end, but it was an early release. So it put some time and effort to it. Also, I'm sure that he probably signed this around the same time for the Mosaic, which came out later in the year. Now we've got Inception. Still looks pretty decent. We got Diamond Kings, which came out early in the year, also 2-patch auto. I think that was numbered or not. No, but now you see it's starting to come together just a little bit.
Starting to shrivel.
Now this is an on-card auto from Topps Finest. It's getting a little bit smaller. And this is from Gypsy Queen.
It must have been cold outside when he was signing.
Yeah. Well, this is an on-card, which is nice. And this is an on-card also from Topps Chrome. And that is like, what is that?
Right.
So it went from that down to that. And that's that. I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of cards that the players get to sign. It might get a little frustrating. It might start to get a little sloppy. You can see that the autographs are pretty much the same, but now it's just like speed autographs.
Well, I mean, you make a good point there, Mike, but again, you've got some players that's been in 10 years. Mike Trout, he has not changed his autograph at all.
True.
But but how many cards does Mike Trout sign over the course of a year? It's not going to be
I think it's a safe assumption depending on the product. because a lot of these products that he's actually contracted for are more on the high end, like Dynasty. You know, only 10 copies.
Yeah, exactly. He's not signing as much as most of the kids that are coming up that your rookie card. Yeah.
Would that apply for like Bobby Witt?
Oh, that's good.
Well, Witt's probably more of an established now too, because he's also a collector. So that's another thing. That's
where I was getting at.
Yeah.
You know, we're starting to learn more that a lot of these players who are actually required to sign or choose to sign or whatever, they would probably want a full autograph of their favorite player. Or for some of these players, you know, if they're going to collect cards of their own, they want them to look top quality.
And maybe Topps mentions that to them, you know, maybe Topps mentions that, or that's part of the, it'd be nice to see a contract from like 5 years ago. Just, I'm sure they're out there. They come up in auctions all the time for older players, you know, hey, the contract with Topps or the contract for whatever it is. But it'd be nice to see if we could find a copy of a contract to see what Topps requires for more recent signers.
Right.
Nice
Mike Trout, Bobby Witt, they do collect their own cards.
Oh, absolutely they do. Yeah.
Yeah. But as Jackson, with that comment that was made, and a lot of comments took it sideways, that's just the negative person just taking it the wrong way and reading too much into something without having the context. Is Jackson Merrill a collector? I don't know. Maybe he is.
To me, that sounds like a political opinion.
Oh,
kind of like what you said, you know, you'll see a phrase and they'll take it out of context. Oh, so what you're really saying is this.
Well, yeah, it's however they feel that day. You could take it and run with it however you want, but the reality is we don't know the whole story. So, based on the best way to approach everything is based on what I know. This is my opinion, and that's great. We all have opinions. That's the way it should be. But is Jackson Merrill a baseball player or a baseball card collector? If he is, now that makes a lot of sense because he's understanding the cost of the product and, hey, if I hit a high-end one, I want mine to be different. And if he can control that, he's basically saying, let me give you a nicer autograph and understand also, I have to sign 5,000 of these things a year for Flagship and all these other brands and all these other products. Give me a break here. It's going to be a little smaller.
That makes sense.
I think that's the way I would at least, because again, we're talking about a guy that's good at baseball. We're not talking about the guy that's coming into the league and, you know, he's in 24 update right now. And we're like, who are these people? The filler autographs that we complain about, the checklist being too big.
I mean, the way I look at it, if I'm paying good money for these products, especially with the way the prices are dropping nowadays, I would expect a quality or semi-decent autograph. Don't give me no issues with a smiley face.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know how that, I don't know. And if Topps doesn't require anything, you know, that'd be something for maybe some research to find out, or if someone in the chat knows if they've ever seen a contract. Actually, how about Adam's Card Closet? He does a ton of TTM through the mail autos. You know, he's been around autos a lot. Maybe he would have seen in his passing like what a contract used to look like. I know you could find some copies online and just Google, you know, Topps autograph contracts. Try Googling that and maybe see something, a copy of one. But what it is today is probably a lot different than the guys that they're sending through the mail.
I mean, then you got those players with those real complex signatures, you know, Derek Jeter.
Yeah. People say Derek Jeter's looks amazing. It doesn't look like his name. Amazing to me is Mariano Rivera, Andre Dawson. Beautiful. You can read them. It's legible. Look at Ryan Sandberg and Mike Schmidt. Those two look like they just took strings.
Despite the fact that Derek Jeter doesn't look like he's signing Derek Jeter, at least he puts effort into it.
Sure.
With all
and they're all the same
sizes.
Yeah, and they're all the same. But a lot of people say it's beautiful, but to me, a legible autograph is much
Mariano
nicer.
Rivera, Ryan Sandberg. I mean, yeah.
Can I get the director to take me off full screen? I've been on full screen for like the past 5 minutes. There you go. Thank you.
So, yeah.
No one wants to see me when you two are talking.
That's basically what we're looking at as far as autographs. Okay. All right. So, moving on to card shows. So, we all know right after this last national, Fanatics decided to basically post all over the place, hold my beer. We're going to do our own card show. Okay. It was Fanatics Fest. They popped their cherry in New York City at the Javits Center. For those of you who actually went, go ahead and feel free to drop in the comments your experiences over there.
Yeah.
What was good about it? What was crappy about it? What in your opinion you think would make it better next time? But before you come up with something for that last part, I just want you all to keep in mind that as of right now, Fanatics is putting a halt on future Fanatics Fest shows. There was one that was scheduled for October in Orlando. It was canceled. They're using the excuse of the hurricane. There was one scheduled for Pennsylvania in the Pittsburgh area. That one is canceled. Then they were supposed to go to the West Coast. Those are delayed as of right now. But they did put out a tweet saying that next year, Fanatics Fest will be looking to be going on before the National next year. And the reason why they're doing that is because when they did it last year, right after the National, they actually lost $20 million. So if you was running Fanatics, either one of you gentlemen or in the chat, okay, would this be something that you would want to kick to the curb, or you would try to adjust fire to where you're trying to keep up with the competition? Because basically everybody looks forward to the National. Fanatics is the new kid on the block. Okay. And it's not even you can't even really compare it to the National, because we're talking about sports figures that are predominantly a part of Fanatics Fest, whereas the National is more hobby based with support from athletes.
All right, where do I go with this one? I think Fanatics was kind of just, they were in the whirlwind of buying tops and getting into the card business, and they wanted to go into this gung-ho, but they didn't plan it out correctly by going in after the National. The National is solid. People go to the National. They look forward to the National. They want to know where the National is the next 3 years out so they can start making plans for it. Fanatics Fest, I mean, okay, so it was in New York, big city. All right, what big city, big population, great. Okay. How much is it going to cost to go to the National or go to Fanatics in New York and actually get a room for 2 or 3 nights? It's, first of all, it's going to be expensive.
Parking expensive.
Parking's expensive. Even if you're going up for the day, it's expensive. And how much you're going to see during the course of the day? How much did it cost them to get all of these players in to do signings and meet and greets and all that stuff? And were they able to recoup their money? Apparently, they were not able to recoup their money. I think the way that the National does it by moving it around, I actually think Chicago is probably the best place for it because it's kind of centralized in the United States.
Right.
Cleveland was good, and it was probably good because it's a lot cheaper to stay in Cleveland. Although I heard that where the convention center is, it's near the airport. It's not near the downtown, so you have to shuttle and Uber and everything back and forth to it. The best place for, I think if they did a Fanatics Fest, I think if they did it in Vegas, I think it would be a hit. I think that's because even if you have to, most people would have to fly there, but you wouldn't just make it like a 1 or 2 day thing. You would make it like a 4 or 5 day thing, get together with everybody, you go to casinos. There's so much to do in Vegas. And then you have 2 or 3 days at the show, or however. How long was Fanatics Fest?
Fanatics Fest was 3 days.
Was 3 days. So even if you go to Fanatics Fest for 2 days, you still have 3 days to go around Vegas. And there's so many things in Vegas to do. I think it would be a bigger draw there.
That sounds like a great idea for those that live on the West Coast. What about those on this side of the country?
It does not cost much to fly to Vegas. It really doesn't. You can get a flight and you can get a hotel at Vegas cheaper than you could probably get a hotel in New York City for 3 nights or 4 nights.
So the drawback, Mike, I didn't mean to interrupt you if you're done.
I'm done. Go right ahead.
Before I forget. So real quick, my opinion is this. Fanatics is so out of touch with collectors. Nobody can afford that. They just spent all their money. Obviously, the timing, we can factor that in. All right, we'll give them a break there. The timing wasn't good because they just spent a bunch of money. And then all the money you save up for, and a lot of the channels that I follow and people that I follow, they save up year round, and they just want to go there and buy those vintage cards, the modern card, whatever cards they want. Fanatics Fest is never going to compete with the National as a card show. The National is a ongoing get-together, gathering. Look at the short amount of time I've been online. We had 20-some people at the Indians game with just complete strangers. I mean, you guys are strangers because I never met you in person, but within 1 year or less than a year online, we all got to meet up and then had a break and a rip night at my house and had people over, had drinks out at another time, etc. All these different things that Fanatics doesn't realize. A cheap hotel, $350 a night, whatever it is, $1,000 just to sleep there. $50, $100 for the ticket. Okay, you got the tickets for free. Doesn't matter. There's $1,000. You're spending cash. That event is not for kids and collectors. It's not. Okay, it's just not. And if that's what we're comparing it to a card show, there's no comparison. It'll never top it. That's just my opinion. Now, if we're going to talk about some other event where they have ESPN there and they have all these cool things to do where you're tossing footballs and throwing baseballs, and it's more of a all-star fan fest. If anyone's ever been to an all-star game and seen an all-star fan fest, that's always attached to it. When it was here in Cleveland, T-Mobile had zip lining down the street overhead, autographs inside, some of the best exhibits for the Negro Leagues and Hall of Fame and the female players from the 20s and 30s. It was great, but it was all about baseball. But it was tied to something, the game. Fanatics Fest is basically trying to take something away from a card show because they did have vendors there, but those vendors are limited and they had very little vintage product. So for me, there's nothing there for me. I would never pay to go. I don't understand the whole draw. If they're trying to do a big card show, that's not the way to do it. People forget that the National is a free venue. The National is a free venue. They don't pay for that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to do a card show or it's just it's like it's like more of a multi-sport kind of get together to meet the players.
To lose that kind of money though.
Yeah.
Are you trying to do this to get the people? Oh, it's the shiny lights of New York. Yeah, they had security walking around. Tom Brady's walking through the aisles, but not everybody gets to meet and talk to Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, there's a video of him stopping and doing I like that card. He did a quick trade. Okay, great. That's all for publicity. As soon as that 30-second clip is over and it's posted on YouTube and Instagram, no one's talking to Tom Brady. There's not one other video. No one's hanging out with Tom Brady. Those guys are in, make their appearance, get out. So I don't understand. I don't even know what Fanatics Fest is. I don't know what it's for. I don't know what it's supposed to do. There's no incentives for new collectors. No, there's nothing to prove, hey, I'm a new collector. Hey, I've never been to one of these before. What can you tell me about it? There's no speaking engagements. There's nothing with fans, collectors, none of that. So I have no idea what it is. It's a big waste of time.
So here's my take on it. I've agreed with both of you up until the point that Arnie said that Fanatics doesn't really is not as established as the National.
Well, I meant out of touch. They're out of touch with the
out of touch and all that. Okay, I got that. But here's the thing, though: the Fanatics actually has the flexibility to go cross country if they want, regardless if they're out of touch or not. I can't recall when the National has been held outside of the East Coast of the country. That's one.
Yeah.
Number two, the big thing that I do agree with, yes, the Fanatics Fest is more geared towards everyday people doing meet and greets with their favorite athletes. Okay. You could also do that at the National, but also with Fanatics Fest, they do have not as much, but they do have a real estate allocated for hobbyists. Okay, so those individuals that set up at the National can just pack up, go on over to Fanatics Fest and set up shop there. You know, I mean, it's basically what you as the hobbyist are actually looking for that can contribute to your hobby needs or your hobby habits.
Our hobby experience. It's definitely an experience. I get it. It's different, but I guess what I should have said before I had my comments is, if we're trying to compare it to a card show or the National, it is it is night and day. It's not even a comparable. It's just two different things, which is good. I think we need that. I think that's great for the hobby. But I just think that when I say out of touch, in terms of out of touch with the hobby, the people that collect cards don't have that kind of budget. If I have $1,000 for hotel and then another $1,000 for all my expenditures, not counting cards, I'm in it for $2,000 to get to a location that doesn't have cards, and I'm a card collector. That's hard to get me there as a card collector. It's hard to get a new collector there with a $2,000 negative hole. It's like going to set up at a card show. My analogy would be your dealer space is $2,000, and where's your cards? Well, I don't have any. I'm just going to sit here in a chair with a blank table. So you're already in the hole.
Unless you're one of those fortunate ones where you happen to live in the vicinity of where Fanatics Fest is actually setting up.
Yeah, I get that. But that's a small amount of people, and they were giving tickets away in droves, 1,500 stack of tickets. They were giving them away, and nobody would take them. They couldn't get the people to show up.
Yeah.
So I think that that was probably a miss. Location is everything, and I don't know. When I say out of touch with the common collector, rising box prices, this fancy glitz and glam, that's all Ruben is about. All he is how can I take a photo with somebody popular? And that's that's what he just wants to be seen. He wants to be known in the limelight. He wants to be front and center. And when guys have that kind of money in the billions, they don't care about money anymore. They want power and they want popularity.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that because normally you'll see your what everybody likes to call hobby influencers. You got your sports card investor, you've got your latent sports card, all those big names. You won't see Mike's ripping on a budget being mentioned anywhere.
No.
In Fanatics.
That's not indicative of the hobby, though. The hobby is so much more, and I've mentioned that a lot in other chats, that if people step away and search, because I think the hobby president that Sports Card Radio did for Mr. Mangini, what was great about that, he said what he worries is that the new collectors, when you search sports cards, he's right, you see those 2 or 3 guys if you do a Google search. So the average the average collector that gets back in the hobby or whatever it is, he's going to get led down a different path that just seems to be probably not a good thing and misleading with misinformation. So that goes with everything else. Those guys, one thing I learned with big companies and big stuff like that, they don't ask people that are the consumer. And I know this is going to sound stupid, but follow me. When Wendy's does a promotion or they do a meal, no one's going to eat that. That's horrible. Those big wigs that get paid millions of dollars to make these decisions, you know what they do? They roll them out and then they'll fix it later and they'll change it and they'll get rid of it. Well, they don't ask
that's
people.
The problem. You mentioned
they don't ask
Wendy's.
Consumers.
Let's talk about McDonald's and the McRib sandwiches.
All of it. Well, no, just think about what Wendy's was going to pull 2 months ago or 3 months ago. We're going to raise our prices during peak hours when you're getting off of work and grabbing some food because you're too busy and you gotta grab your kids some food because there's no time for dinner because you have practice or something. Once that news got out, the public went nuts. Are you kidding me? It's already too expensive. You already raised your prices. So I think these guys don't care. Those guys that make those big decisions, they do not care. They're in control.
They're out of touch.
They're out of touch. That's what I meant by out of touch.
Exactly out of touch.
They will
and they don't want to listen to you.
No.
Yeah.
They don't. I have
want your
at
feedback.
The place that I work, I mean, I've been in retail for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And our district managers, they hire them right out of college. And I tell each one of them, and I don't care what I say, I have forgotten more about retail than you'll ever know.
Yeah.
And they look at me like, what? I was like, just because you could read a book and pass a test, you know, hey, perfect. You're in the perfect position because you know everything.
How many times have any one of us bought something at a store, whether it be a toy, something from Home Depot, and go, who the hell did they show a human this product? This is horrible. What did I buy?
I mean, look at this comment that Maddie made regarding the National. Last time they was on the West Coast was almost 20 years ago.
But that's also done by votes, and they leverage them to say, hey, I'm bringing X amount of people. It's no different if you guys come into town for Cleveland. The guys that got the trade night together, they went to a VFW hall and they said, listen, we're going to rent the space. Guys put the money together. But if they have a cash bar, you basically just say, hey, I'm having a venue. It's going to be for 3 hours. We're just going to come in here and eat some pizza, and then we'll do a cash bar. And then I have 100 people coming. If you do the cash bar, I'll bring 100 people. It's a wash for the venue, for the rental space for that night. Right. And that's how these things are done. And that's how the National's always been. It's been something that was voted on. They get these venues for next to nothing or low cost. But one thing that's good about the National this year, they're actually giving more spots and more spaces because of the problem they had with dealers getting like side tables, like, hey, this is my table, but it's his cards, and having too many people behind an area. So I believe they made a statement not too long ago.
Not enough real estate for everybody.
Yeah. So what they're doing is the newer people are going to be in like a cube for those listening, and it'll be like an L corner, like 1-2 tables, and then 1-2. So 8 tables in a cube. And then there'll be left corner, right corner, bottom left, bottom right type of deal.
Okay.
Which is good because you're going to get, and it's going to be two passes and 2 dealers for that little section. So it'll be 8 people, 8 passes for that cube, which is something we didn't have before because they were basically saying, all right, let's get this table. Let's get a big space for 6,000, and then we'll chop it between 8 guys. They don't want to do
right on the head.
Yeah. Yeah,
they'll go
put it on by the vendors. Yeah,
they'll go to the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, hopefully
Fanatic gets it together. It's going to be more expensive.
The West Coast does have, which is kind of being called the West Coast National. It's the what's his name that has all the listings on eBay. He just went over to Fanatics.
Yeah, you talking about
you know it.
Yep, I know who you talking about. Damn, I can't even think of the name right now.
He sells the singles. He's got like 50, 60, 600,000 or some. And the crazy inventory he's got. He's the biggest
got a
seller.
whole warehouse of inventory.
It's a good show, actually. I mean, a lot of people love it, but that's considered the West Coast National.
So
someone in the chat would know what it is.
Burbank show.
There it is.
Burbank. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Larkin had the first one in. Just leave it to Larkin. That's all.
I mean, these are good problems to have as a collector. Yeah. Like, we have things going on in the hobby as much as we complain about, or we read things that people complain about. This is all good for the hobby, no matter how you slice it. Jeff Wilson, I'm not a fan of him, but another card shop in another city, great.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know?
Okay. Well, I wish Fanatics the best of luck in 2025, and hopefully they get it together and they realize that
listen to collectors. Listen to the people.
Let's actually start living up to the whole idea of we're going to 10x the hobby for the collector, not the breaker.
Yeah, because we're the collectors.
Yes,
that's what it comes down to.
All right, so real quick, last talking point. We know GemRate puts out monthly grading in total for the big 4: PSA, SGC, CGC, and Beckett. Okay. We all know PSA leads the pack by an abundance of graded cards. Beckett, not so much. Okay. And this was as of the 13th of November in one day.
Wow.
Okay. PSA 61.3 thousand. SGC 6.5. CGC 5. Little Beckett. Granted, they're up 183%, but they haven't even broke 2,000. Do we think Beckett is on life support?
Go ahead, Mike.
I think Beckett's been on life support for quite a while. I mean, PSA is known on eBay. That's the cards that people are looking for. They're looking for the PSA graded cards, the SGC cards. Great for vintage cards, great for your older cards. They've kind of got a little niche for that. The other two, yeah, good luck, guys.
Yeah, life support. I agree. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if they need to be acquired at this point. I just think they're just slowly.
Yeah, I think they're good. I think
it's organically just getting but I think it's going to get to a point where Beckett reaches out to somebody, whether it be CGC or I'm sorry,
CGC.
CGC, yeah. I keep getting confused. The comic company that created their slab. So
yeah.
But unless they could just keep operating the way they do, don't make any changes. Just keep operating the way they do.
Because I mean, Collectors Universe, they acquired SGC, but nothing's changed.
No. And they have the power now to dissolve them slowly. What if they dissolved? Which it wouldn't be smart. I don't know. Maybe it would be smart. What if they dissolved SGC and bought out Beckett, and then everything went away, and it was just PSA and who? CSD or CGC? I don't know. Like, I don't know how that looks. I think it's going to stay the way it is right now for at least three plus years. What do you think?
I mean, to be honest, with Beckett slabs, I honestly don't know what's it going to take for them to build up that momentum. I mean, in my opinion, there's really nothing wrong with the slabs, with the exception of they are hella thick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're like bricks, but a lot of and I can't speak for all sports because anything outside of baseball, you've got rookie cards from basketball in Beckett slabs. I don't understand the logic, don't care about it, but anything vintage, we all know SGC is infamous for having tuxedos on their vintage stuff. I would pretty much put Beckett in the same category as well. And on top of that, they give you the subgrades too.
I do like that point of Beckett. I think that's the only thing they got going for them.
A lot of people say if they didn't have the half grade, which is so controversial with SGC, would SGC be stronger? Would that work with the rating system? If you didn't have a 9.5, you couldn't put a 9 on the subgrades. It would be 9 to 10, and there would be no half subgrade. So then that would be factored in how you get the overall 9 or 10.
Because I mean, PSA does the half grades also.
Sure, it's rare. A lot of the vintage stuff more often than you see it with modern. But speaking modern across the board, the drawback with modern on SGC is the half grade. The subgrades is great on the modern with Beckett. PSA not having subgrades is also another argument. So it kind of goes hand in hand with those three. Just in terms of modern, vintage is a whole nother, conversation.
Right. I mean, how would y'all feel about if Beckett incorporated graders notes all levels? Would that be a game changer for them? Maybe or help boost up their notoriety?
I don't know. I think that premium service has always been their go-to because no one else has it.
Because I mean, for the longest time. PSA has graders notes, but you have to get you have to submit on one of their higher tiers.
Yeah. And we're talking a difference of maybe it's $14 and then it's $18 with Beckett. If someone wants to chime in, I don't agree with Beckett, but maybe the regular non-subgrades would be $14 a card. And then the next level is $18 or $19.99 or something. I don't know, but it's a few dollars more, whatever it is. But I brought up the point a while ago that my suggestion would have been for PSA to just make it a dollar fee or a $2 fee per card. I want subgrades on this, and then allow that extra service. But then you're having people look at cards longer because they're not into business to doing that right now.
I think if PSA was to incorporate subgrades, that would probably force them to change the design of the slab too, to incorporate all that extra info.
Yeah, I think it would just be on the back. I think they just take off where, let's see if here's a slab on the back if we can find. Yeah. So you have the barcode, you have the number, you have the QR code, and then the big PSA logo on the left. I
Okay,
guess
so
I guess it
remove
would
the
be right
logo
there.
and put the subgrades.
Yeah, keep the logo in the middle, which is that is actually on the back side. Just get rid of that PSA logo on the top left on the rear,
Okay.
and put everything right there, because the QR code is very nice. I mean, anybody that's getting into cards that doesn't know much about cards, it's like, hey, here's how you could check them. It's kind of cool to show them.
Right.
Take a photo of the QR code. The scanner is good for if you have the PSA app. This is also nice because you can go right to the actual card and the pop count versus typing in this number, which is a certain number on the back. So I think that would be a good idea. Again, they did talk about that. Not Ned Turner, but the guy that's below him. They did talk about that. Their goal is eventually to get subgrades in every category. Now that may take 10 years, may take 5, but it was mentioned.
Awesome. So this was a pretty good episode, in my opinion. You know, a lot of information put out, a lot of feedback from both the co-host and the chat.
Gotta love the chat.
Chat's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I appreciate everybody that's in the chat with their contributions to our talking points. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's basically all about, you know. Because everybody has different habits when it comes to the hobby. They look at things differently. They feel a certain way that doesn't match what the majority does, and so on and so forth. So I mean, that's what this is all about. So we're gonna end it off with some last notes. Mike, you have anything going on in the
no, I got a lot of stuff going out from our celebration of life for Steve. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes in this room. Maddie's stuff and Sean's stuff's coming, so I'm going to I've got everything separated, ready to go, and I would like to get that out Wednesday or Thursday of this week to everyone, as long as everything's here. And then once I'm cleaned up and ready to go, well, I said I wasn't going to do a break, but
You're going to do a break.
Dude, I found something at a really good price that I just could not pass up.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it. No.
In an email.
Go for it.
No spoiling, but it's going to be a low-end, inexpensive, somewhat high-potential break that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And we won't do that until my goal is, first thing, I'm not doing any breaks until I get all of this cleared. Once it's cleared, then I'm good. I'm not piling break upon break upon break upon break, because then I'll go crazy.
Understandable.
Then you'll end up like me.
Yeah, I don't need Arnie-itis.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
Arnie,
stuff,
what about you?
I'm going live at 9:30. I'm gonna take a little break here. Ray, that's back into the hobby. He's just got to my house, and he's going to open up his first personal case, which is cool. And then we'll be back on at 9:30 and start filling up the holiday. So we'll see what holiday looks like. And then we got the Ginter case right after that. We're halfway full on both cases. So see you guys at 9:30. And that's all I got.
Awesome.
Check out the new product.
For those of you in the chat that has not been over to carddeal.com's live stream, it's got some awesome breaks going on. Make sure y'all go check it out. For me, I don't really have anything going on.
Any PSA reveals coming back soon or anything for you?
As of right now, I'm actually waiting for packages from Mike so that I could put together my next PSA order.
Sorry, they'll get
no worries. No worries at all. But I hope to see everybody again next Saturday, same time, same channel. And we're gonna probably bring up some stuff that's going on with the sport as well, to include collectability of these recent award winners. So we'll have a better idea of who are gonna be the new chasers coming up with this new season. All right. So if you haven't hit that like button, make sure y'all do so. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Go check out my co-host as well.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, crap. I got to hit the like button, too.
How bad am I?
Jesus, this guy.
I don't ask for much.
No.
That is true.
Just a little thumbs up every now and then.
That's it. But I do appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And we'll catch you over on Arnie's stream in exactly 11 minutes. Have a good night, everybody.
Right. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
See you, fellas.
Appreciate you guys.